Racing on Saturday takes place at Turffontein Inside Track. It is the 8th of April 2023, and we've got some nice races on the card that you can look forward to. 9 races on the program, and I'm joined by Alistair Cohen. Alistair, how are you doing?
Yeah, good, thanks, Raheel. Obviously been a busy week, and we continue along with the Turffontein Inside Track meeting on Saturday. It's funny enough, when the declarations came out, because I'm calling the meeting, when the declarations came out, I didn't think much of it, but after going through the card over the last 48 hours, I've got a little bit more hope for this card. Obviously, we are getting towards the end of the autumn season, so we're a week out from the Her Serene Highness Princess Charlene Empress Club Stakes, which is shaping up to be a very, very good card, despite it being a likely small Group 1 field, but I think the rest of the card is very appetizing indeed. But yeah, this card is, on second glance, nowhere near as bad as it might look.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought it's a card where you could possibly make yourself a bit of cash. Looks to be a bit punter friendly, but let's go through it, and then we'll kick off in race number 1, which goes off at 12:10. And race number 1 is set to be run over the 1,000 meter trip. It is a juvenile plate for the fillies. And your current favorite in the lineup is number 2, Ripple Effect. It's at even money. It's 5-2 about Call Me When You Need Me. Winter Path 11-2. It's 8-1 and better bar those. Now I thought punters could certainly start off on a winning note here with Ripple Effect from the Ashley Fortune yard. She's had 3 runs to date. Last time out, second behind Mrs. Geriatrics, so looks to be a very smart sort in the Ruffian Stakes, and she showed quite a bit of pace on that occasion, Alistair, and she's obviously got Call Me When You Need Me held at the weights on that run behind Mrs. Geriatrics. Do you see it the same way to the possible winner here?
Yeah, there's no reason to divert off number 2, Ripple Effect, on the evidence of that run to Mrs. Geriatrics. I actually thought her run in Cape Town was solid, was fair. Behind Golden Tatiana, the daughter of Erupt certainly looks nice and forward. And Ashley Fortune, despite being out of the country, she had a winner on Thursday at the Vaal with War Empress, who I thought won a very good race when it looked like there were a few challenges and some moderate challenges. War Empress found more. So the yard's running in good form, not great form, but good form. I thought Derby Day was a bit disappointing for them. And Call Me When You Need Me's got a bit to do at the weights. I think the issue with Call Me When You Need Me is that she can be a bit hot and lose her race before the race is even run. So if she is on good behaviour, that might add a little bit more impetus to her chances, but she's still got a bit of work to do to turn it around. Just an interesting note about Johan Janssen van Vuren's 2-year-olds. One of them's ridden by Craig Zaki. I don't know which one Johan likes, but there is one in either race 1 or race 2 who's very, very smart. So just watch the market with one of those Zaki rides for Johan Janssen van Vuren on Saturday. I have a feeling it's the one in race 2, but don't hold me to that.
Yeah, in race number 1, this 2-year-old filly, this So Seductive, 1.4 million rand purchase. So surely at the sales they must have seen something with this individual, Alistair.
Yeah, My Funny Valentine was a good mare. She was trained by Sean Terry and owned by Michael Leaf, and obviously being by Vercingetorix, that's the type of blood and genetics you would go to the top for. So yeah, number 6, So Seductive, must have something about her, and also being from a sprinting family, there's no reason to be put off. But I just have an inkling that, I'm not saying that she's not nice, but I have an inkling that the one in race 2 is the one. But like I said, don't hold me to it.
Keep a very close eye on the market in race number 1. But number 2, Ripple Effect, certainly the horse that they all have to beat. Now we're going to move along to race number 2, which is going to be the start of the bipot. And race number 2, 1,000 meters a trip. It is the juvenile plate, and get your bets on by 12:40 on the afternoon. In this lineup here, Ashley Fortune and Ryan Munger team up once again, and they've got this filly Rose Tinted, who is your narrow favourite, well, alongside Statesman, who has found support. 7-2 in the market, down 5-2, and Statesman, maybe this is the one, Alistair. This is for Jan Janssen van Vuren and Craig Zaki, and this individual is a son of Give Me the Green Light, so perhaps Statesman could be the one that you were talking about.
Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't take down the betting moves before, so maybe that is the one to watch. Maybe both will win. Yeah, number 3, Statesman, son of Give Me the Green Lights. It's a half brother to Attenborough, who of course won the computer form sprint with Joey Ramsden plus minus, or if not minus, but plus 5 years ago or so, and went off at any price and beat a hot computer form sprint field in that year. So, he'll be quick. 1,000 meters won't be any issue for the son of Gimme the Green Light. Another expensive horse that Lawrence Jarrett and Tessa Werner's dug deep for. So, respect that money. Obviously, Rose Tinted's form was done a bit of justice on Thursday when Bom Bom came out and won. It was a hard-fought win from Bom Bom, but he'll kick on and he'll be all right as time goes on. So I thought that was encouraging for Rose Tinted supporters from Thursday's races. But I don't think there's too much else here going on with regard to race number 2. Rose Tinted, probably the most reliable of the race runners. I think Real Relief is held in high regard by James Crawford up on the half-felt, so there's another reason to give that form a little bit more of a boost. And just shopping around through the other first-timers, maybe there's not a hell of a lot going on. So I'd be comfortable in the bar pots to respect the money on Statesman and the form behind number 1 Rose Tinted.
Maybe this horse number 7, Key Element, given that he is related to, she is related to Quasi for sure, who's quite a smart sort from the Peter Muscat yard. Maybe number 7 could show a bit on debut. But another race where you got to keep a very close eye on the betting market. There are quite a few first-timers in this race. And keep an eye on number 3, Statesman, from the Johan Janssen van Vuren yard with Craig Zaki aboard. But Alistair has mentioned that numbers 1 and 3 could certainly see through leg 1 of that bipod. Next up, race number 3. And this is an MR77 handicap. And I had to look a few times to make sure that I was looking at the distance right. 3,000 meters a trip for race number 3, Alistair. I thought maybe my computer form had something wrong, but it's certainly right. 3,000 meters a trip. And we've got a few horses that are trying the distance for the very first time. So what's your opinion on the race? Zuzan 28-10, 3-1 a fraud, 7-2 positive attitude, 4-1 about Great Affair, and then it's 11-2 and better about those.
Yeah, my suggested bets on the card right here is a place accumulator. And I've banked number 2 a fraud. Craig Zaki takes the right. Gavin Larino is suspended, as is Keegan DeMello. So, don't be put off by the fact that Gavin's jumped off and not riding. Gavin's not riding on the day. He's not riding for 7 days. So a fraud, I think, is guaranteed to get the trip. Zuzan, this is uncharted water. Never been further than 2,000 meters in his life. So there's a lot for him to prove. There's also no reason to doubt that he can get the trip, but there's still that question mark about him. 3 Great Affair for me has been very costly to follow. If he wins, he's without me. I think number 4 Positive Attitude has definitely got a chance because I thought that he outstayed and outmuscled Quantifier last time out. Again, this is uncharted waters, complete uncharted waters for Positive Attitude. And I'm not convinced on breeding that he'll get the trip, but Joey Sammy gets them supremely fit, so that's got to add to his chances. And number 5 Monsieur Chevelle, I suppose there's no reason not to get the trip, but I don't think his form lines are as strong as a fraud. So I'm going to go with a fraud. I thought he was with authority last time in beating Angel's Wish. I'm obviously of the opinion that this will be slightly harder, but again, come back to the fact that he's going to stay. Stephen Moffat does a very, very good job with the limited stock that he's got, and I think that he is the most reliable option in the first leg of the place accumulator, so I'm happy to banker him in the opener.
Yeah, it certainly does look to be the one that they have to beat here after his win last time out, beating Angel's Wish. Craig Zaki gets on extremely well with him as well, and he's guaranteed to stay the trip. So horse number 2, the one to beat in race number 3, and a banker in the place accumulator for Alistair. Now race number 4 on the card, which is the start of the Pick 6, and hopefully we managed to get to a decent Pick 6 pool on Saturday, and this here is a maiden plate for the fillies and mares over 1,600 meters. And your favorite in this lineup here is number 2, Redu, 16-10 down 15-10, 2-1 into 18-10 about Broadlands. Keep the 4, 3-1. Secret Recipe, horse number 8, is trading at 11-2. It's then 20-1 and better bar those. Now, Alistair, for me, number 2, Redu, I think this is a horse that's going to take some beating in this lineup. She ran behind Batik last time out. I didn't think that form line was going to hold up at all, but it actually has, and Batik has come out the maidens and actually run some fair races. So I think Redu would strike her aboard. She's stepping up in trip to 1,600. I think that she's going to take some beating here. Stable Companion's very, very costly to follow, and I'm sure many punters are put off her by now.
Yeah, some of our old friends here Raheel, keep the 4-2. I've been for before. Broadlands, who everyone's been for before and has now been bitten far too many times. So I think we default to number 2, Redu, as the horse to beat. She's a half-sister to MK's Pride, who a week ago ran second in the HF Oppenheimer Horse Chestnut Stakes after winning it 12 months ago. When you consider that MK's Pride is by Willow Magic, who's unlikely to stretch to much of a distance, and Redu is by Rabada, who of course won a Group 1 over 2,000 metres, won the Daily News, then I suppose that suggests that Redu could very well be looking for this mile and also plus in time to come. So she is the one to beat. You spot on about the Batik form. When Batik won, I thought, how on earth has that actually won a race? And those poor horses in behind, they're going to battle. But to the contrary, it's been the complete opposite. That's a good piece of fillies and mares maiden form on the half-out. So I think number 2, Redu, is undoubtedly the horse to beat. The fact that she's getting better and closer with each and every start is definitely a step in the right direction. And she now gets the services of Piers Stratum. So a lot to like about Redu. I'll back her up in the place accumulator with a stable companion, number 3, Broadlands, because Broadlands is Broadlands. She'll run in the first 4. Probably when the pressure's off will be the day that she does the job. Who knows? But I think Redu's a bit more reliable at this stage of her career.
Yeah, if Broadlands wins, I'm happy to lose then, because I've been for way too many times, and she's certainly costly to follow. She's honest, but she's just not honest enough to win a race. But we'll see how Broadlands does go in race number 4. Next up, race number 5, which is another maiden plate. Get your bets on for race number 5. By 2 on the afternoon. Favorite here is Free Movement at 7-10. US Open at 5-2. Promontory at 8-1. It's in a 10-1 and better bar. Those now, Alistair, I thought Free Movement going to take a good horse to beat him here. He's got US Open held on the run behind American Biscuit. He's got around 2.5 lengths to play with. He's got a much better draw than he did have last time out. 12 out of 12. Behind American Biscuit, and I think that Free Movement, this could be another win on the day for Ryan Munger.
Yeah, just sorry, quickly before we go into race 5, race 4, number 8, Secret Recipe, a good place chance as well. Don't leave her out of your trifectas and quartets and potentially your pick 6. Race 5, I'm all over number 1, Free Movement. It's actually by default. I don't think there's much else in the race. You, as you mentioned, got quite a lot of putting to work with alongside US Open on the American Biscuit run. Although US Open gets blinkers for the first time, I'm not convinced that's going to be worth 3 lengths to turn around. And then of the others, there's nothing that really jumps off the page. Free Movement's a very well-related son of Master of My Fate. He's got the likes of Bunker Hunt in his family, folk dance as well. I can't be put off number 1, Free Movement. I just don't think there's anything against him. I think the card and all bets, and I'll be disappointed if he didn't win. He finished off his race nicely to American Biscuit last time. American Biscuit. American Biscuit, a horse that won a nice race last time out, and Free Movement certainly the one to be with in race number 5. Currently at around 7-10 in the market. Ryan Munger aboard for Robbie Sage, and going to be a banker in all bets for both Alistair and myself. Race number 6 on the day, which is a classified stakes over 1,450 meters. And your fixed odds betting market has Fur Baby at 18-10. Batik is at 7-2, along with Mix the Magic. It's then Maboneng trading at 6-1 in the market, 8-1 and better bar. Those now, Fur Baby, she put in a nice run last time out behind a Stratospheric Stable Companion. She was beaten 2.5 lengths on that occasion. JP van der Merwe tried something different with her, took her to the front, and she actually ran a nice race. And with that piece of form, given that she took on a lot stronger in that race, that was an average rating of 83. She's now down in class to an average rating of a 65, and it is a D-class event. So for me, I thought number 1, Fur Baby, could certainly run a nice race. And then we've got the likes of Maboneng, who was scratched on Stipe's permission during the week. She takes a part in this lineup here. She won her last start, and she's a horse that perhaps can go on with a job now, Alistair. Yeah, Raheel, obviously Fur Baby is undoubtedly the one to beat. I thought she went out to set the pace for Stratospheric last time out, and she ran a lovely race in defeat. The horse who ran second weekend was Crimson King, but once had a rating in the hundreds. I know Crimson King ran over the wrong distance to pipe opener for him to get to the right trip in time to come, but still there was so much to like about Fur Baby's last run. So huge run of this daughter of Ideal World. She's the one that they all need to beat from a good yard and under a good jockey. So if there are any chinks in her armour, I think those towards the bottom of the weights could be dangerous. Number 7, Mix the Magic, stayed on nicely behind Cold Hard Stare last time. She's in good heart. Philip Labuskachny knows what he's doing. If he had more horses, you'd know a lot more about him. JP van der Merwe takes her ride. I think with the light weight, she's dangerous, and also JP gets a tune out of her. And then, as you rightly mentioned, now this race was put on at the last minute because one of the other races didn't subscribe to the operator's liking. So this race was put on at the last minute and set up perfectly for Mabaneng, being a filly and a classified stakes with the lightest weights. So that is obviously why Sean scratched her on Thursday's card. So I'd expect number 10 Mabaneng, if you read between the lines, and I hate reading between the lines in racing because often the message is incorrect, but I think in this case number 10 Mabaneng is going to run a big race, and to get 8 kilos from Fur Baby, a 3-year-old filly, Fur Baby is going to have to be good, but we know that Mabaneng is obviously not a world beater, but like I said, this could be very well set up for Mabaneng to get back into the winner's enclosure on the back of her last win.
Yeah, 6-1 compared to 18-10 is a much better value with the horse at the bottom of the weight. Mabaneng, 52 kgs on the back, currently at 6-1. That is certainly the value in race number 6. Next up, race number 7, which is set to be run over the 1,000 meter trip, and it's quite a competitive event at the 96 level, where your current favorite in this lineup, just having a quick look at the market, Cold Hard Stare, 28-10, 7-2 about Rose for Trippy. It's 5-1 Moon Shining Through, 7-1 and Better Bar those. Now, Alistair, this is a race where I don't know if I quite agree with the market, because I like a horse right at the top here, and that's number 1, Moon Shining Through. I think she's a class package in the race. I know that she does return off, an 88-day layoff. But I think if you have a look at her form, if you were to put the likes of any of the horses that she's beaten or been beaten by in this lineup, there'd be odds on in this race. So I don't understand how she could be priced up at around 5-1 in the market. And you have Cold Hard Stare, who's beaten Mix the Magic, beaten behind Angel's Wish, and beaten 5 lengths behind Captain Peg at the top of the betting boards here. But what's your take on the race?
I don't like the race straight here. I think there's a lot of traps involved here. I get what you're saying with Moon Shining Through. My 2 numbers in the PA are 1 and 7, Moon Shining Through and Cold Hard Stare. So we half read it the same. The issue with Moon Shining Through is that she can do anything on race day. Remember the day when Keegan DeMello rode her in her 3rd start when she was unbeaten?
She cost herself on that day. Moon Shining Through, as I was saying, yeah. You can go on, Alistair.
Sort of thing said. So, number 1, Moon Shining Through has obviously got a lot going for her, but I think her mental attributes could count against her. Best horse in the race of that, there's absolutely no doubt. If everything goes according to plan, she'll make this field look ordinary. But she can never be a banker just because of what she can do on race day. So I've backed her up with the progressive number 7, Cold Hard Stare. Cabello Matsanyani takes the ride. You spot on about what you mentioned. I don't think there'll be much between the 2 Azzy horses, but I'm just going with a lighter weight with number 7 Cold Hard Stairs, potentially the one to challenge number 1 Moon Shining Through. I think if Moon Shining Through gets beaten, she beats herself, and just about anything can happen after that.
Yeah, absolutely. Cold Hard Stare improving nicely after her win last time out, 52 on the back, and she's a horse that Alistair has backed up number 1, Moon Shining Through, with in this lineup. But quite a competitive event. If we look past those 2 runners, then just about anything could have a chance here. Race number 8, which is the penultimate race on the day, 1,000 meters a distance yet again, and this is an MR80 handicap. And your favorite in this lineup here is horse number 2, Smith and Wesson, at 3-1, 33-10 about Tayuba, covert operator at 7-2. It's 5-1 and Better Bar those. Now this is a race where I thought very, very tricky. Lots of horses in with chances here, if not close to the whole field. Covert operator, I think he's the type of horse that takes a specific kind of ride, and Gavin Larena gets on so well with him. Not saying that Craig Zaki won't get on with him, but I just feel that Gavin gets a tune out of this son of Coup de Gras. Alistair, I think he's going to run a nice race, but We'll see how he does go. Obviously, the likes of South Boy, a horse on his day, can run well from the yard as well. And then you've got the inform Letitia's Angel, Smith & Wesson, looking hot. So it's a trappy sort of race.
Yeah, I like the form and the style that Smith & Wesson won with last time under Marco van Rensburg Regiel, and out of a good draw, Stallgate 4, I think that he'll be the one that they all need to beat. The money flooded in for him last time, and he just never really looked like losing. I actually think the penultimate start over 1160 set him up for that, the way that he stayed on really, really well. And I think that Paul Matchett's now got the best out of the son of the United States. I'll be surprised if he didn't run into the first three. My backup is number 5, Covered Operator. I think Craig Zaki will be perfect for the son of Coup de Gras, because yes, your spot on does need a certain type of ride. You need to count to 10 and then wait another 10 seconds before you pull the trigger with the son of Coup de Gras, and I think Craig's patient enough to be able to ride the wave and just keep getting to Covert Operator when he has to. Yes, there is a lot of competition, but I think the small field allows us to go a little bit lighter here. I don't like Letitia's Angel, although she is probably better on the inside track. She'll be coming from anywhere really. I remember early on she was pigeonholed as a horse who could only win from off the pace, but she's got a bit more versatility to her now. So I respect her chances, but I don't think she'll turn the form around with Smith & Wesson. It doesn't look like there are any excuses for the last run either. And I think number 1, Tayub, is giving too much weight away. So I think that she will do well to win the race, could well run into the places. Smith & Wesson the most solid, and 5 Covert Operator stares me in the face as a big runner.
2 and 5 for Alistair in race number 8. Race number 9, which is the final race on the day, 1,000 meters, the trip yet again. And this race here, fillies and mares, 72 divided handicap. Get your bets on for the last race by 16:45. And the only scratching in this race here is horse number 2, Insatiable. That's currently the scratching on the card. And favorite, Beat It Gown, 28-10. No Time Is Taken, 7-2. Convocation, 9-2. It's 6-1 and better bar those. Now, last time out, I thought No Time Is Taken would run a nice race, and she ran a nice race to a point. She ran third behind Cold Heart Stare. We'll obviously see how that form line does work out in the earlier race. And I think that she's going to run another nice race. I feel that the drop to 1,000 could actually suit her, given the pace that she showed last time out. Keretila Kachedi aboard once again. So for me, I'm going to be with this 4-year-old daughter of Twice Over to possibly get it right after 539 days without a win. So I'll be with number 4, Alistair. But obviously, race number 9, a few horses in with chances here.
Yeah, so I can obviously fill you in with number 4, No Time Is Taken. You have obviously read Candice Dawson's script, because that's exactly what she thinks. Dropping to 1,000 meters on the inside track is probably perfect for her. She's not one that you can go broke on, because she is a bleeder. So there are always, a few doubts. Her work is very good, though. Can't put you off. Her last run, I think, sets up nicely. She's getting better and stronger with every run. Keretila Kajedi rides a lot of work for Candice and has been working before. No Time Is Taken. He's happy. So everything's in place for a good run. Just hopefully she doesn't bleed. If she doesn't bleed, she probably wins the race. If not, goes very close. Just because I could not possibly banker her with those issues, my backup comes from number 1, Convocation, who drops to 1,000 meters. Problem, but the form is too good to ignore. There's 2 direct winners from 2 runners out of Convocation's last run. It didn't look like it was going to turn out to be a hot maiden. Again, like Batik, it is turning out to be a very useful piece of form. So she goes in despite giving weight all round. And then I've gone with number 10 on the card as my alternative. Beat It Gown. Cabello Matsanyani rides for Mike de Kock. Even though she's a one-time winner, I'm surprised she's a one-time winner. She runs her races. She's been unlucky a few times as well. She doesn't always get the runs and get the splits that she needs. If things go according to plan, she's very dangerous. She hasn't got a good draw, so it'll be interesting to see what Cabello does. I have an inkling that he's going to go forward on this daughter of Rafif. And with the envelope being pushed by potentially quite a few other pacemakers in the race, like Blinded by the Lights and Mother of Pearl, even No Time Is Taken can get forward. She might end up working a little bit harder than ideal, but if she gets there a little bit easier than what I think she might, she could be very, very dangerous and a hard horse to run down. So 1, 4, and 10, my numbers, with pretty strong inkling towards 4 and 10 as the winner coming from one of them.
I think another positive with Beat Gown is that she's back against the same-sex company after taking on open company in the last 2 starts and was far from disgrace. She's also dropped in the ratings a couple of points, so that could certainly help her chances, which is number 10. Beat Gown, your current favourite, at 28 to 10. So 4 and 10 for Alistair in the final race, and I'm going to be with number 4. No Time Is Taken with Keretile Kachedi aboard. Now, next up, we're going to move along to the suggested bet part of the show, and Alistair, he's got a place accumulator lined up for racing at Turffontein on Saturday. So, Alistair, take it away with your place accumulator.
Yep, starts at 1:15 in race 3 on the 9-race card. I've opened up with banker number 2 of Fraud, about 2 and 3 Redu and Broadlands. I'll be surprised if I don't double up there. Banker number 1 Free Movement, I think he's the bet on the card. Hopefully he doesn't shorten too much. Then race 6, which is the 4th leg of the place accumulator. I've gone 1, 7 and 10, Fur Baby, Mix the Magic and Maboneng. Final leg, not final leg, next leg, race 7, which is leg 5, 1 and 7, Moonshining Through and Cold Hard Stare. About 2 and 5, Smith & Wesson Covered Operator. And then the final race on the card, final leg of the PA, 1, 4 and 10, Convocation, No Time Is Taken, and also Beat It Gone.
That's Alistair's place accumulator. Alistair, thanks very much for your time and all the best. Have a good weekend. Have a good Easter.
Cheers, Raheel. Same to you. Same to all the viewers. I hope that it's a wonderful time ahead. And this time next week we'll be talking about the Empress Club Stakes. I think that's a meeting that I think many will enjoy.
Absolutely. We look forward to next week. But all the best, guys. Have a fantastic Easter. Spend lots of time with your family and the loved ones. And hopefully you find all the winners on Saturday at Turffontein.